Hello. A very interesting news that you would have heard the last few days. A philosophical statement from the UN that says poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. This is the philosophy with which Prime Minister Modi has been working to ensure that India becomes a prosperous, developed country by the year 2047. Of course, 2047 is still 25 years away. But the fact that from day one in the year 2014, Prime Minister Modi embarked on a journey of ensuring that there is a reduction in poverty and increase in prosperity. Just broadly, let's look at a few contextual data. The whole world is in a bad state of economy. Some countries are in a state of recession, some suffering from stagflation, some very high inflation. And the IMF calls India as a bright spot in the otherwise dismal state of economy. 7% growth in spite of a COVID, in spite of a Ukraine-Russia war. Inflation superbly under control. What does this mean? If you compare this with Sri Lanka, with Pakistan, with Turkey, with the UK even for that matter, you get to see a solid, strong performance on the economic front in India. On the one hand, you get to see good economic performance. At the same time, what's more important and what goes under the radar is the frontal attack by Prime Minister Modi on poverty. As a person who has seen extreme poverty right from his childhood days, he understands how important it is for a country to root out poverty, enable each and every individual with dignity a sense of self-accomplishment. From the year 14 till year 2023, you get to see the kind of data that shows India has done phenomenally well in reducing multi-dimensional poverty. The recent Niti Aayog says 135 million, which is 13.5 crore Indians in the last 5 years have exited multi-dimensional poverty. By the way, you hear me saying multi-dimensional poverty rather than just the term poverty. What is multi-dimensional poverty and what is poverty? A mere poverty as a definition refers to monetary poverty. The World Bank and the IMF put $2.15 per day for a person to be called as being above the poverty line if he has this kind of a money. Convert that into Indian rupees and you probably have a monetary poverty line. But Prime Minister Modi has been looking way beyond this. He is looking at a multi-dimensional poverty index. What does that mean? What is the difference between the two? Prime Minister Modi focuses on multi-dimensional poverty. What does that mean? A poverty that not only encompasses your monetary poverty, plus along with it also has other socio-economic indicators. Let's take an example. There is an absolute poor man on the road. You go and give him $2.15 equivalent Indian rupees each day for the next 1 year. Technically speaking, he is out of poverty. This is exactly what Rahul Gandhi keeps repeating. We have pulled 30 crore people out of poverty in the 10 years of UPA. This is a blatant lie. And best case, it's a half-truth. What you may have done, assuming even that's to be the truth, is just pull them out of the mere monetary poverty line. What is the true poverty? It takes into account the multidimensionality of it. For example, a man, even if he were to have the monetary equivalent, the Indian rupee equivalent of $2.15, if he or she doesn't have access to toilets, electricity, healthcare, good education, food, and home, it only means that person is still considered poor. Prime Minister Modi has been attacking this multidimensionality of poverty. It's not just about raising the per capita income, which Prime Minister Modi has amazingly done in the last 9 years. Today, the per capita income stands at about $2,500 US. How did Prime Minister Modi achieve this? Go back to the year 2014. From day one, or probably from the 15th of August 2014, his focus was very clearly on the toilets, on the water availability, on the electricity availability, on the gas availability, on the healthcare facility, schooling, and overall stay in terms of a comfortable pakka house. The last 9 years has seen Prime Minister Modi lead and launch a frontal attack on the multidimensionality of poverty. So it's not just about giving them enough money to tide over the poverty line, but give them the means and the wherewithals to continue the growth of prosperity. That is the true sense of pulling a person out of the poverty, out of the multidimensional poverty. But how did Prime Minister Modi once again do this? Prime Minister believes in the smart way of doing. There is a saying in the corporate world, what cannot be measured cannot be achieved. We have heard slogans like Garibi Hatao, right from Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Manmohan Singh / Sonia Gandhi, trying to say that poverty needs to be removed, Garibi Hatao. It is just a mere slogan. But Prime Minister Modi broke down the poverty aspects into specific tasks. SMART, as you would know, S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for timeliness, time-boundedness. This is SMART, S-M-A-R-T, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. How do you know? The first target given was, we need to ensure that 20 crore poor people have financial access, one key indicator of multidimensional poverty. In less than 4 months, you had 20 crore people having the Jan Dhan account. In 5 years, I need to ensure that there is a Janaushadhi in 5,000 centers. It was hardly less than 90 centers when Prime Minister Modi took over. We had 5,000 centers at the end of 5 years and close to 10,000 centers distributing medicines at less than 50% and about 1,200 medicines in the kitty. Not to speak of the Ayushman Bharat, which gives you a 5 lakh insurance cover to over 50 crore people. 1,000 days, just 1,000 days, and 18,000 villages that had never seen electricity were given electricity, thanks to Piyush Goyalji's hard work and Prime Minister Modi's direction. Dharmendra Pradhanji took the challenging task of saying that we will ensure 6 crore households will get gas connection in 5 years. He exceeded it and went to up to 7 crore. Today we are talking of about close to 9 crore households having gas connection. 12 crore plus households today have toilet facility. 13 crore close to households have the water connectivity. This is exactly what is removal of multidimensional poverty. Let's put a minute to say, understand how is it's going to remove poverty in the true sense of the term, uproot it, and then take them to the level of prosperity, to the journey of prosperity. Take a poor woman in a village, in a so-called home. She never had water, she never had a toilet facility, she never had a gas connectivity, she never had access to good health care, she never had access to finance and banking and access so on and so forth. What would she do? Get up early in the morning, trek for about a kilometer or two with fellow women to relieve herself so that before the dawn breaks, she is back home. You lose about an hour in the morning. There is no water at home, so you go to the pond, you go to the lake, you get water from home. There is no gas connectivity, so you need to go out and collect the firewood, or probably use the cow dung, so on and so forth. There is no electricity, you need to go in for kerosene, probably start using the kerosene lamps. There is no banking facility, you need to put money in someone else's home as safe deposit, not sure if it's going to come back to you, or put it in some place in the home where an alcoholic husband probably might flick it off. If you are unwell, you have no other option but to sort of go through a severe dent in your income, if at all you had some savings as such. Today, what Prime Minister Modi has done with the provision of toilets, water, electricity, gas connection, health access, education for kids, and most importantly, a small pakka house for each one of them, most of them rather. People, most importantly the hard-working women, have time on their hands. She saves time from going to the outskirts of the village to relieve herself, to fetch water, to fetch firewood, to fetch kerosene, so on and so forth. With about 6-8 hours additional time on her hands, what is she doing? With 6-8 hours additional time, she is ensuring that she earns a few additional hundreds of rupees each day for herself. If she is more enterprising, probably she'll take a small mudra loan. The government has ensured that the people get the basic social facilities out of the poverty and then give them a sustainable income mode so that they are on the journey of prosperity. This is how the per capita income is almost doubled up to $2,500. If you look at the rural per capita income alone, it is more than double. How is this possible? Once again, the fact that Prime Minister Modi is using a double-pronged attack. On the one hand, ensure that the poverty goes down, the multidimensional poverty is uprooted. On the other hand, enable them to work on their own, generate additional income so that over a period of time, they move to a lower middle and probably the middle class income status. And the next generation with good education, with good facilities of healthcare, they are none. And the next generation with an excellent good access, with an excellent healthcare facility, they are second to none. They can probably make a much better living thanks to the education, thanks to the efforts of their parents and Prime Minister Modi. Coming back to the data on multidimensional poverty. 135 million not just pulled out of poverty line, remember this, but multidimensional poverty. So therefore, if you look at the last 15 years data that the World Bank has shown, close to about 400 million people have exited poverty. It goes to the credit of Prime Minister Modi to permanently uproot poverty, because he is targeting the multidimensional poverty and not just a mere technical monetary poverty. Indeed, param vaibhavam netumetat swarashtram. If this is the prarthana that we do, our country needs to be prosperous, then each and every person must have the basic access to all these parameters that Prime Minister Modi is focusing on. And one smart thing, apart from the smart measure that we spoke of earlier, is this focused approach. What was his focused approach? He looked at the entire country and looked at those 100 districts that were really backward, poorest of the poor, aspirational districts as he called them, and said the entire focus of the machinery, the bureaucracy and the schemes must be on those districts. Imagine, any smart corporate person can understand, if you are targeting the weakest link in your armor, you are able to improve your average and your overall journey towards progress and prosperity. This exactly is the outcome that we get to see today. When Prime Minister Modi is working on a building block, it is going to be cumulative. Be it the DBT, thanks to Jan Dhan Yojana, be it the good healthcare facility, thanks to Jan Aushadhi and Ayushman Bharat scheme, thanks to good healthcare because you are using gas connection and no more the firewood and no more the cow dung, and thanks to Modi, your healthcare is becoming better preventively as well. Why? Because you are getting Nal Se Jal. You are getting potable water in your homes. What does this mean? Your waterborne diseases, your smoke-borne diseases, your airborne diseases are drastically reduced. On top of it, while that's preventive, as a curative measure, you have the Ayushman Bharat that takes care of your healthcare. With these enablers in place, people are confident, people are raring to go to generate more income for themselves. That's where the Mudra scheme, the Swanidhi scheme comes into play. The very fact that India was in the 10th largest economy rank in the year 2004 when Vajpayee ji handed over the reins to the Congress, and in 2014 we were still in the 10th place in the world. Why? Because the focus was not on true poverty eradication. It was mere sloganeering. There was no concept to plug the leakages, because leakages is what they wanted. Today with a DBT, there is a zero leakage. From 2014 to 2023, India has climbed up the ranking from the 10th largest economy to the 5th largest economy. Give 2 more years, we will be the 3rd largest economy in the world. And this is happening with jobs for all, and most importantly, removing the poverty in the true sense of the term, which is multidimensional poverty. The fact that the intensity of poverty has reduced drastically, and more importantly, it has reduced in big rural areas, UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, speaks of the fact that the Prime Minister has only one objective, that of making India strong across states. If you understand this notion and concept of a multidimensional poverty, please do convey this to your people in and around you, to your mates, to your drivers, to the security guards, and enable them and educate them that they need to enable themselves. Go to eShram portal. All the social service provision of the central government are made available to the poorest of the poor. That's your contribution to remove multidimensional poverty and join hands with Prime Minister Modi.